And welcome to the webinar, Student Privacy in the Digital World. This is Lynn Erickson, Technology Integration Specialist. This webinar is created for Stafford Public Schools staff to acclimate you through the process of how we protect the privacy of student data when we want to utilize a new EdTech tool in the classroom. Your curriculum department has met and/or your grade level team has met, and you have found a new tool that you'd like to begin utilizing within your curriculum with your students. Now what? On July 1st, 2018, any Board of Education in the state of Connecticut has to enter into a written contract with a contractor anytime the Board of Education shares or provides access to student information, student records, or student-generated content. This includes any existing tools or applications that the district has used, and including any new tools as well. So how do you know if the district has actually vetted the tool? Our IT department has created a website that specifically addresses student data privacy. It is found on our District Board of Education website under Information Technology, Student Data Privacy. You can click to view programs and what we use in the district. So if you're not sure if the tool that you want to use already has a contract, this is one way that you can check. Once you click on the link, it opens up a new page for you to see all of the vendors, consultants, and contractors that we have a data privacy contract with. It also has posted the privacy policy and terms of service for those vendors, consultants, or contractors. But what happens if you don't see the site listed on the district webpage? What should you do now? Your curriculum team should ask yourselves 3 questions on how to protect the privacy of your students in the classroom. Does the application or tool that you want to use, does their website have a privacy policy? Does the website have an S in its URL? For example HTTPS. You also want to check with an expert. What tools can you use? So let's look at where you would find a privacy policy. This is a screenshot of a website Edpuzzle, a great EdTech tool. Normally, a website at the bottom of it, you will see something that says privacy and security. You want to look for those words. That is where you will find the privacy policy of the application that you might want to use. Once you have found the privacy policy, you should read through that privacy policy. You're looking for very specific things. You should be looking for some of the following. What data does it collect on your students? How do they use that data? What is the age level of students that are utilizing this tool? And how can you access the data they have collected on your students or you? In addition, you should look at and register for the Connecticut Learn platform. It is a free website and an excellent resource. It includes how providers have pledged to comply with Connecticut's student data privacy laws. Companies use the hub to register and post information about products, as well as to review and pledge compliance with the terms of our state's student privacy statute. So once you've registered, you can see which EdTech tools are compliancy pledged. This is just the beginning stages of what you need to do, though. Normally, if a company is compliancy pledged, it usually means that that we have a much better chance of acquiring a contract with them. Some other phenomenal resources are Check the Privacy. This includes privacy policies and terms of service of over 7,000 EdTech websites. This is not completely launched. They expect to launch this important initiative for the 2019 and 20 school year. Usually they would be sending something out once you have established an account through here. You will know exactly when they're going to be launching this. But this is definitely a great resource to check out for upcoming and how to check privacy policies. So you can review third-party student data privacy data for more than 7,000 EdTech products. Another great tool to use is the Common Sense Privacy Evaluations through Common Sense. They go through and look at the privacy policies of all kinds of EdTech tools. So it's a great way to see if you're not sure what kind of language to look for, really what to see as far as what specific things you should be looking for in privacy policies. Another great tool to use is iKeepSafe. So you've done your research, now what? Well, going back to our district website, in the same place that we found all of the vetted EdTech tools, there's a Stafford Student Data Privacy application for software use. So once you have figured out if your tool is something that you and your curriculum department would like to use, you would fill out this student data privacy application. You've filled out the application, now what? This is the process. Once you've filled out the student data privacy application, it is then reviewed by the Data Systems Manager for compliance. The Data Systems Manager determines whether it is compliant or not. If it is not compliant, the site that you'd like to use is listed as not approved on our website, and we're not allowed to use it. If it is compliant, it will then be turned to the curriculum department, who will review it. If the curriculum department decides that it is not a tool that we should be utilizing in our district, they will mark it as no, and it will be listed as not approved on our website. But if it's reviewed by the curriculum department and determined yes, the next thing that happens is the Data Systems Manager generates a contract to be signed by the superintendent and the contractor. It is then posted as yes on our district website. Just keep note that if we discontinue use of any program in our district that already has a contract, we must let the vendor know. Please note, though, that the vetting process takes time. Some vendors take months to sign a contract. You want to make sure you plan accordingly. You might want to utilize other similar tools before your tool is vetted. What do you do, though, if your students want to use a particular site for a project and that particular tool is not vetted in district? You certainly want to have a conversation with your students on what they want to use that particular site for. You want to ask them some of the following questions. Did you have to make an account in order to start using that app? If they did have to make an account, did they have to provide personal information? And you also want to talk to them about what types of personal information should that site collect and not collect on that student. You should also be asking them, does the app require parental permission? Who would have access to your email and other information now that you've created that account? Also, does the app developer share your information with others? It's right in their privacy policy. Does the app collect additional information such as location or contacts? We really want to connect and protect students once they use particular sites. As teachers, we're not allowed to tell students that they have to use particular sites if they're not vetted in our district. If students do want to use a site for a particular project and they come up and talk to you, these are some of the questions that you should be talking about with them. Again, this is through the Children's Internet Protection Act. We want to make sure our students are protected and their data is protected. So this might be a conversation that you have with parents as well. So in addition to the resources I provided you through this webinar, there are other resources that are very important to use. FERPA Sherpa will give you all kinds of tools and resources on how to use various apps in the classroom and what you should be looking for with privacy policies. We've talked about the Learn platform. If you need future information on our Connecticut student data privacy and security laws, you can find that on the state portal. And there's FERPA Do's and Don'ts Guide for Teachers on what you should do and not do when we're talking about student data privacy in the classroom. I hope this webinar was beneficial to you, and I look forward to you working with your curriculum departments and grade level teams to find new EdTech tools and going through the process. This would be the next step after this webinar. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, ericksonl@stafford.k12.ct.us. Thanks for your time.